The Hobbit, an unexpected journey. What a treat this is! Let's get into it. The Hobbit is from 2012. It lasts for 2 hours and 45 minutes. 2 hours and 35 glorious minutes. The Hobbit, an unexpected journey stars Martin Freeman, Ian McKellen, and a load of other dwarves and elves. What's your issue with this, Nudie? My issue is, the book was that thin, okay? Lord of the Rings books are that thick each. Right? Right, you can see from there. It's that thin. Right. And they stretched out every single scene to make 3 of these movies. There's more? Yeah, there's 2 more. Haha, I can't wait. Well, you're going to have to wait. I'm not watching these anytime soon. They're great. They're not great. The movie opens with old Bilbo Baggins telling young Frodo Baggins all about his life. He's writing it all down for him to say, here's another tale I haven't told you.
No one wants to hear this crap.
Yeah, because this is after Lord of the Rings, you see, which I've never seen.
And you never will.
Yeah, but this is a further tale Bilbo is telling Frodo. He's looking at old pictures of himself. Well, drawings. Yeah, because they don't have cameras. Yeah. And reminiscing. First of all, we hear a tale of the dwarf city of Dale. Yeah, also known as Under the Mountain.
For some reason.
And it's this land, designated land, ruled by a dwarf king, Thror, not Thor, no, Thror, as the king, because he found a jewel called the Heart of the Mountain, because this mountain is filled with gold and gems and jewels and all sorts. Yeah, it's like Vatican City, yeah. Over time, Thror becomes enamoured with the gold, he loves it, he hoards it.
I'm greedy. So greedy. Greedy for the gold I haven't got.
Yeah, the someone else also loves gold. A dragon called Smog or Smaug or Smag, I don't know, Smeg. And this dragon loves gold. I don't know why, he can't stand it. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, because of this, he attacks the dwarf land. Yeah, kills loads of them. And the surviving dwarves are driven from the land. While this is going on, an elven army, led by their king at the time, Thranduil, is watching from a hillside. And another dwarf called Thorin, yeah, he's like a handsome dwarf, because he's the only one that looks like a human. Yeah, I don't know why he looks so human-like and all the rest. They've got big noses or big chins, or they're comically shaped or whatever. Anyway, he shouts for help, and the elves just ride off.
See ya.
You're on your own, sucker! So from that day on, he's got a deep-seated hatred of elves.
He is racist.
As the dwarves are fleeing, the king drops the heart of the mountain into the mountain. Smog takes residence in the land, the dwarves flee, and they go to another old dwarf city. Yeah, right, this old city, it used to belong to the dwarves, but now orcs live there. That's right, so they're a big battle. Yeah, I mean, to me this is basically the dwarves being the invaders, because they gave up the land, orcs moved in. Orcs might not be very nice in these stories, but they live there now, and all of a sudden the dwarves are there like, get out of here, this is our land. Yeah, so it's a big battle, and the king's killed. Thorin fights the leader of the orcs, and cuts his arm off. He's kind of in charge now, Thorin, yeah, because he looks like a human. We cut back to our main story, and young Bilbo is sitting having a pipe outside his house, and it's his first meeting with Gandalf. Yeah, Gandalf's a lizard, you see, yeah. And Gandalf says, do you want to go on an adventure? Bilbo says, no thanks, I'm quite happy sitting here. Yeah, so Gandalf graffitis his door. He scratches an emblem into it. And leaves. Yeah.
You're rude.
And I thought Gandalf was supposed to be a giant. He's bigger than the dwarves. Not in this movie. He's the same size. Every scene. Stop nitpicking. I'm not nitpicking. Anyway. Bilbo thinks nothing more of it, and then that night he sits down to have supper. Yeah, he's got like Cudder's full of food, and it's all like cheese and fish and meat, all things that'll go off within a day. So he's about to have dinner, and then there's a knock at the door, and some dwarves come in. Yeah. And then more dwarves come in, and more dwarves come in. Yeah, there's loads of dwarves, and they've all got different regional accents, and they all look different, but only Thorin is human-like.
He's so handsome.
There's Dwalin and Dalin, Silly and Kelly, Oin, Gloin, Dither, Dothar, Dondar, Nori. James Nesbitt is one of them. And then there's a big feast, and they sing a song. Yeah, they sing a song about cutlery and stuff. It's great. It's not. I love this world. This is.
Smash the bottles and burn the corks.
Check the glasses and crack the plates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates.
I read this book when I was younger, and I really, really enjoyed the book. And I tried to read Lord of the Rings 3 times. Too many big words? No. I tried to read Lord of the Rings 3 times, and I got to the same part every time, and I was like, just falling asleep because there's so much filler. So much nonsense I don't need to know about this type of tree, or just absolute. I did not enjoy them. What about the movies? Did you see them? I started watching the first movie again. Twice I've tried to watch the first movie. Got to the same bit when they first meet Liv Tyler, and by that point I'm like, it's been on so long and nothing has happened. It's not holding my interest, so I switched it off both times. I might give it another try one day. We definitely will. Anyway, eventually Gandalf shows up. He says to Bilbo, we're here to take you on an adventure. Bilbo's still saying, I don't want to go on an adventure. I'm a hobbit. I'm not an adventurer. I'm not a dwarf. I'm not an elf. I'm not a wizard. I'm not any of these things. I just want to have a nice quiet life. Yeah.
No means no!
So then they sing a sad song to guilt them into it, basically. And then they all fall asleep. When Bilbo wakes up the next morning, all the dwarves and Gandalf have left.
Resound!
Yeah, they're like, fine, they'll go without you. You're supposed to be our burglar, which is the first he's heard of being a burglar. Yeah, but Gandalf's reasoning is that a dragon knows the smell of dwarves, but a dragon won't know the smell of a hobbit. Yeah, they'll still smell something, surely. Yeah, he'll probably still just bite him in half. So when he wakes up the next morning and they're all gone, I'm thinking that he's thinking, great, I'll carry on with my nice quiet life.
Great success!
And I'll have peace and just enjoy myself. Not. He rushes after them for no reason at all. That's right. And he says, oh, I'm here, I'll come on the adventure. And then we got a big long sequence of them walking. And then, I mean, this movie is all big long sequences of something. Yeah, there's battles and stuff though. Yeah, but every scene is just drawn out so much, just so the studios can make more money by making it into a trilogy. They could have fitted this whole story into one movie and it would have been far more enjoyable. Would it though? Yes, it would. Also, the CGI doesn't look that great. You can tell maybe I'm watching the wrong format or something, but it doesn't look very good because you can see when it's green screen or you can see when it's digital matte or whatever. Really? Yes. In fact, this movie was made, I don't know, 15 years after The Matrix. It had double the budget of The Matrix, and it looks nowhere near as good as The Matrix. It baffles my mind. It baffles my mind how you don't like this. This is great. Bilbo, Gandalf, and dwarves set up camp that night, and while they sleep, some trolls come along. Yeah, these are giant things, right? And they grab the dwarves. They steal the horses. They steal the ponies that the dwarves use for transport, and they're going to eat them. And then Bilbo gives himself away by trying to rescue the ponies. He gives himself away and he gives all the dwarves away. Yeah, so now these trolls, these cockney trolls, they decide, well, let's eat all these little guys. So that's what they try to do. They tie them up, put them in sacks, and then they start to roast them over a fire. And then Dildo starts talking nonsense to them. He's like, oh, you should tenderise them. You should watch out because they've got viruses. And trolls are pretty stupid in this movie. In real life too. No.
Internet trolls, just ignore them.
Now the trolls, William, Tom and Bert. Trolls can only come out at night. So this is when they hunt, this is when they eat. And they're thinking they've got a jackpot. All these dwarves, a hobbit, all these ponies to eat. Yeah, and Gandalf has disappeared, right? But then Gandalf, because Dildo's talking nonsense so long, Gandalf has a chance to sneak up on them from behind, and he cracks open a rock that's guarding them from sunlight because the sun's coming up, and cracks the rock, exposes the trolls to sunlight, and they all turn to stone.
Sure, why not?
That's that chapter over. Yeah, it's great. After this, we cut to some weirdo, Radagast the Brown. Okay, and he's another wizard who lives out in the woods, and he communicates with animals. Yeah, and his hair's covered in dirt too. Yeah, his hair's disgusting. But he finds all his animals are dying. Yeah.
You're a cheery one.
And he realises the land is poisoned. Yeah, and meanwhile, Gandalf is wondering why trolls have travelled this far south. They shouldn't normally. It seems like some dark force is taking over the land. Yeah, bad times. Bilbo, you should have stayed at home. Gandalf and the lads find a cave. Yeah, it's filled with treasures and swords and all sorts of stuff. So they just help themselves. Yeah, I think these might be victims of the trolls, or some of them are ancient artifacts, I think. Yeah, Dildo gets this really cool sword, and it glows blue. It's cool, it's an old elven sword, apparently. Yeah, it belonged to an elven king from hundreds of years ago. And Dildo's like, I'll have that, thank you. They bump into Radagast the Brown, and he tells them about his findings. Gandalf talks about his findings, and they agree this is not a good time for Middle-earth.
Maybe we should just move.
Radagast the Brown is very worried about this. Gandalf helps him relax. Hey, Gandalf gives him a go in his pipe to relax him. Yeah, what's in that pipe, mister?
Maybe smoking the reefer.
While this is going on, they hear a noise in the distance. Orcs! Orcs are coming to get them. Yeah, orcs are after them. Orcs are, well, basically after anyone, but also they really want Thorin because the leader wants revenge. Yeah. So the orcs can ride in these things called wargs. Wargs. They're basically wolves. So Radagast the Brown says, listen, I'll take my super fast rabbits or something and lead the wargs off on a wild goose chase. Yeah, so he does, and then looked stack around to hear Gandalf and that are, so that was pointless and evil. Gandalf and Bilbo and the dwarves all go into a cave, they hide in there, and they go deeper into the cave and come out the other side, and they are met and rescued by the elves. Yeah, Thorin's not happy. He's like, I really don't like these elves.
He's really racist.
So the elves take them in and give them a feast. Yeah, it's all salad and lettuce and things like that. And one of the dwarves are like, where's the meat? And another one's like, where's the chips? Yeah, I don't know how they know what chips are, but okay.
Great.
This is the Valley of Inlandis, or in common speak, Rivendell. Yeah, Common Tongue it's called. It's what you and I speak. Alright, okay. Wait, speaking of language, what is it the orcs speak again? Black speak. Yeah. Lord Elrond, the leader of the elves, he helps Gandalf and Thorin decipher a map they found, and it basically tells them you need to be in exactly the right spot, exactly the right time for the moon to shine upon this thing, and it's basically like tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Basically, this is the only time they can enter under the mountain. Yeah, because that's their goal. They're going to go to Neat Snog and steal the heart of the mountain and try to get the land back for the dwarves.
Simple.
You might have forgotten that because this movie is so long and so drawn out. It's great, everything in it. Gandalf has a meeting with Lady Galadriel and Saruman, and basically needs their permission to go ahead with the quest. Yeah, that by the time he's finished this meeting, Dildo and the dwarves had left already. Yeah, for some reason they're like, let's forget Gandalf, who is definitely the leader of this expedition, who has all the plans and the map. Let's leave him behind and go our own way. So we cut to the dwarves and Bilbo walking and walking and walking and walking. There's lots of jumping over gaps and almost falling to their dooms, but no one ever really gets hurt or is in any peril in this movie. Well, they're in peril. Well, they're in peril, but there's no risk because I thought one or two of the dwarves would be killed at this point. Yeah.
No such luck.
Now, Bilbo's one of the ones who almost falls off the side of the mountain before they get inside, and Thorin is complaining, he's saying, oh, this hobbit shouldn't even be here, he's not a warrior, he's not one of us, he should have stayed at home.
These rats, you know.
Anyway, inside this mountain, they discover it is a goblin lair. So it's goblins, trolls, elves, dwarves, hobbits. That's the only one the author made up. And orcs. Maybe orcs, I don't know. Anyway, there are thousands of goblins, and they swarm all over the dwarves, and they take them off to see the Dwarf King as prisoners. Yeah, they don't touch Hobbit. They don't touch Bilbo. I don't know why, but they don't. So, I mean, they can see him. They're not blind. They can smell him. They know he's there. I don't understand why they just leave him alone. But they do.
He's not worth the effort.
And he just looks around like, oh well. The dwarves are taken to meet the Goblin King, who's this big, hideous monster. And he basically says, kill them, eat them, dismember them, do whatever you want. So it's up to Bilbo to save them.
We're screwed.
Bilbo takes his blue glowing sword and he goes to the entrance of the king's lair. There's one guard. They have a little bit of a fight and they both fall off a little suspension bridge and they fall about 50 feet down to the ground. The injured goblin is being taken off by this disgusting creature. Yeah, this is Gollum and he is disgusting. Bilbo tries to hide from him, but he ends up being discovered. Basically, Gollum is saying, I'm going to eat you. Bilbo convinces him, well, let's play a game of riddles before you eat me. If I win, I get to go free. If you win, you can eat me. So Gollum says, okay, sounds good. And Gollum's got a split personality. Sometimes he's like, oh, I love riddles. And sometimes he's like, oh, I'm gonna eat you, Nate. Yeah.
Isn't this true of most women?
Mic drop.
Before that, they had a bit of a wrestle, by the way, and Gollum dropped a ring, a precious ring that he had in his pocket. Bilbo just steals it. He's maybe not the most virtuous character. Anyway, he steals it. They play a game of riddles. Gollum says, oh, I think I'm going to eat you anyway because you're trying to cheat, which he kind of did. But also because he stole his ring. Yeah, he knows that his ring's missing and he knows the only person that can have it is Bilbo. So Bilbo runs off. He sneaks through a crevice in the rock. He hides in there. Gollum's trying to get in. He's getting closer and closer. Bilbo trips backwards, falls onto his back. The ring goes flying up in the air and lands perfectly on his finger. Ta-da! And it makes him invisible. So then Gollum comes in, he can't find Bilbo, so he just stays where he is, invisible. Meanwhile, upstairs, Gandalf has appeared.
Nice of you to show up.
He's here to help the dwarves fight off the goblins. So there's a massive running battle. It's mostly the dwarves and Gandalf running away from these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of goblins, and they're chasing them, and the goblins are all falling to their death, and none of the core team, none of the dwarves or Gandalf are, in danger. They just make it away pretty easily, although it's a very, very long drawn out scene yet. And they crash down to the Darton surface where Dildo is hiding, and they manage to find an exit. Yeah, Bilbo sees them passing by, but Gollum's in the way. He can't sneak past Gollum because Gollum would feel him. So do you remember how he gets out? Yeah, he kicks him in the head. He does. He jumps and kicks him in the face and hops over his head. And escapes, leaving Gollum in constant depression because he's lost his only precious thing, that ring. So then there's more scenes of them riding and walking and just going across the country for ages and ages and ages. It's so beautiful, it's not beautiful. So then once again it's night and they set up camp. Yeah, and then Azog appears. Azog is the leader of the orcs. He and his army and the wargs appear and they surround the camp and they're coming for the dwarves. But Gandalf says, quickly, climb up the trees, let's hide there. So they climb up the trees and just wait. Because the orcs aren't going anywhere, the wargs aren't going anywhere. The wargs start chopping down the trees. Yeah, none of the trees, the tree that most of the dwarves are on, tits over an edge. And they almost fall to their doom, almost, but once again, they're not going to. Gandalf sets fire to Pinecone and starts to use them as grenades. Yeah, so the dwarves listen and they set the place on fire. So most of the orcs and most of the wargs are either killed or driven off. Yeah, the inside the ring of fire, right? It's Azog and his two henchmen and a couple of wargs. So everyone comes down from the trees. Thorin and Azog are about to do battle in this ring of fire. Yeah, and Thorin is beaten easily. He's almost dead. the orcs Dighton, they're going to kill him, and then Hobbit face appears. Bilbo runs up like Jean-Claude Van Damme and starts fighting Azog and the other trolls, and then dwarves all get involved, and then Gandalf whispers to a butterfly. That's right, whispers to a butterfly. Bilbo and the dwarves hold them off long enough for Thorin not to be beheaded. Because Gandalf whispered to that butterfly, a bunch of magical eagles come down.
What? That's what happened.
And pick up all the dwarves, and pick up Gandalf, and pick up Bilbo, and they carry them off to safety. Yay! Yay. So the eagles fly them all to safety. They're all on the backs of these eagles, except for Thorin. Yeah, he's being carried like a sack of meat. Yeah, because he's almost dead. But did the eagles drop them off? Yeah, they dropped them off on top of this mountain peak, which there's definitely no way they're getting down from there. Good luck. Thorin is revived easily, because everything's easy for these characters. And when he's revived, he says,
I'm paraphrasing.
I've said so many things about this hobbit. He should not be here. I've told you all before. He should be at home. He's not an adventurer. He's not a burglar. He's not one of us. He should be living a quiet life with his feet up and not knowing about the world. Not knowing about the dangers of the world around him. And I've never been so wrong. It's so nice. It's so cheesy. It's just rubbish. It's not. It's heartfelt. It's beautiful. I had a lump in my throat. So they're all happy, they're all relieved. And from where they're standing, they can see the mountain. Yeah, the mountain they need to enter to meet Snug. Looks like they're not too far from their goal. And Gandalf says, my friends, I think the worst of our troubles are behind us. Yeah. And at this point I'm thinking, there's 2 more movies, so you're not over your troubles yet. Yeah, and I'm wondering how this movie's going to end. Well, that's it. Yeah, it just ends at this point. That's it. So, if you don't know there are sequels coming, you're going to be so confused. If you think, well, the book was only about 60 pages, the movie won't be that long, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It's so great. You're going to love every minute of it. I don't know how you like this so much. It's great. Elves and goblins and dwarves and orcs and hobbits and lizards and magic and animals and flying and beautiful scenery. Why do you hate it? I don't hate it. I just think this could have been a great movie if it was one 2.5 hour movie, one 3 hour movie even, one 90-minute movie. Not drawn out, every single scene drawn out. There are songs we don't need. There are quests that could take 2 seconds. There are battles that are drawn out. Every scene in it is just extended, stretched out to its fullest, just to make more movies, just to make more money for the studios. Well, they're skint. They're definitely not skint. Anyway, that's The Hobbit, an unexpected journey. Maybe one day we'll do the other 2. Soon? Not soon. Hit like, hit subscribe. Night, precious.